So this beautiful Aston Martin's getting a Radenso and kind of lacking for a place to put it. So we're thinking this is the top of the headliner. Those are the visors, center console mirror. I'm thinking of putting it like right there. See if we can do that. I started to peel the Alcantara back. Seems to come off. Wish me luck. I peeled the Alcantara back. That was pretty easy. Just used the trusty Dremel and cut a hole in it. I think I'm gonna put some braces here and then shape it in a little bit so it looks more flush, and then I can also use that as a bracket. So now I made this little mount, and the idea is that this mounts in there and this will be glued to the back of that, and then that mounts in there. I'm going to chamfer these edges just to kind of have a contour in. And this little cutout here is so the Alcantara, once it wraps through the hole, has a place to go. All right, we got the mount in there. Looks pretty good. I'm going to sand down these edges here and there. We're going to rewrap it. I sanded the edges down, got it all bolted in, and yeah, I think it'll look good. Got the suede in there. And you see those little grooves that I cut, makes it a nice place to trim. And time to put the radar in. Very satisfying. That looks really cool. I think mounting a straight object on a curved surface is always tough, but I think this is acceptable. You totally don't see the top anyway because that goes up against the headliner. And on the bottom you don't see unless you're sitting on the dash like one of those hula dolls. And the sides are, like I said, chamfered down. So, looks like the British made it. All right. Obviously the Aston Martin's still in pieces because we're doing audio work on it. But the display came out nice. Pretty happy with that. Let's see if we can zoom into it. I think it looks like it belongs. Here we go. Fuel pump. This one is for a 2019 Mercedes GLC, and the option we came up with is inside there. We took the ashtray out and we made this little piece out of plastic. The tabs actually go into the factory holes in the back. And literally, it needed to be flexible so it can bend in because this arches down quite a bit, but that puts the display right at the same angle as the cigarette lighter. And looks pretty good. And there's just one little screw that holds it in down here. We'll use this one. This is a pretty cool solution we came up with for the Porsche 911s, the new 991.2. This is the original piece. It's an overhead piece in the console. And this piece is removable, but it doesn't fit. It's too small for the Radenso controller. And we modified it. But what we did is we kept the actual body lines that follow through all the way down to here. And we recessed it into it. It protrudes a little bit on the bottom, but this is as high up as we could get it and have a good viewing angle. This top arch actually contours the headliner, and then we made our own mounting brackets on the inside where it all mounts to, and totally serviceable. The other cool thing that we did is we took the dead switch out of here. So these don't actually move, but the tactile feel of this versus the factory ones is almost identical. See how flush it is when it's off, and then it turns it on. So this is the master switch for the laser and the radar. Pretty cool stuff. Let us know if you're interested. Radenso radar controller install on the Z06 Corvette. Fitting song on the radio too. Here's a pretty cool display install we just did for a brand new BMW M8. Basically took the overhead piece down by the rearview mirror and molded in this little piece of plastic, and came out pretty good. Love it. Here's a little plastic piece. This is all handmade. It goes into this pocket for a Porsche Boxster. It's going to house the Radenso controller, subwoofer control knob, and the USB. So anyway, it's all handmade and fits in there. Came out really nice. Really happy with the way this came out. This is going to go in the overhead console behind the rearview mirror, and it's basically going to control, it's going to hold the controller for the Radenso in this 911 Turbo S 992. So what do we have here? It's the actual ski attachment for my pet hamster's front paws, so I can use them in the snow. I'm joking. This is an intricate little plastic piece that we made to go inside the console of the G-Wagon. So this basically, hard to do with one hand, but anyway, you get the idea. That bolts into there. The Radenso display goes into that. And then the whole thing fits exactly with the same mounting positions as the ashtray did. Pretty cool. And it actually locks into place there. And then you put the same 2 screws in, and on the top, once those screws are in, you get a perfect flush fit for the Radenso. So this is contoured, matches that. That's contoured on the side, it matches that. And then we angled it up a little bit just because it's low down. But it's a pretty tight fit, but you get the idea. I'll post some finishing pictures. I just want you to know, I built this thing quicker than you could heat up your 3D printer. Just kidding. Hope all is well. Oh, we had 2 of these Model S plaids in back to back, and it's always hard to find a place to put anything with the minimalistic interior. Anyway, long story short, we were able to make these little cups for the Radenso radar display, and yeah, we do cut a hole into the headliner, but then these guys fit really nice in there. There's a little screw that goes in the side there, and a little screw, those guys there. Plug it in, and it's in sight but out of sight. Works really well. Here's another simplified option for Radenso mounts. So basically what this is, just a wedge of plastic that's contoured to the controller, and the lowest point here and then the highest point there, it's about 1 inch down to a 1/16. Double-sided tape on this side, and then that literally gets mounted to the windshield, and the angle is going to be towards the driver at a great line of sight. This one's going into a Tesla Model 3 Performance. Steak. So this was a pretty complex shape. I still got to fine tune it. But basically, yeah, this literally fits. Hard to tell, but this fits around there. Contours the side there. Ugh. Can't even tell. Contours the side there, contours all the way around. Just gotta figure out how to mount it. Double-sided tape or something, but looks good. Some paint. So we just finished a Radenso radar and this Porsche Taycan Turbo. There's a radar behind the bumper right there. We put rear sensors, one TX and an RX enclosure in there. And then in the front, we cut the third one right into the valence there. Another one there, and another one there. And on the inside, we mounted the controller in the overhead. This came out pretty cool. It's actually molded right in here. It's kind of similar to that, and looks factory. It's also the only place that we could find to put it. You can tell it's recessed into here, so it protrudes down as little as possible. It's all made out of plastic.